Welcome to my YouTube channel, Wealth States. Let's start video, Why the USA Can't Repay Its Debt. What happens next? The United States, one of the wealthiest nations on earth, sits on a debt mountain of over $33 trillion. That's more than the size of our entire economy. So the question is, how on earth does a country like the USA actually plan to pay this back? Or does it even plan to at all? And if not, what does that mean for us as citizens, investors, and future wealth builders? In the next 4 minutes, we're diving into a story that's part thriller, part reality check, and completely relevant to your future. How did the US debt get so big? Point 1. The origins of US debt. Let's rewind a bit. US debt wasn't always a monstrous $33 trillion. In fact, debt was manageable until moments like World War II, the Cold War, and the Great Recession. Fast forward to today, and we've got decades of spending fueled by things like defense, infrastructure, and social programs. Every dollar spent without enough income to cover it became more and more debt. So, who do you think pays for all this spending? Hint, check your wallet. Point 2. Why can't the US just pay it off? It seems like a simple solution, right? Just spend less and start paying it down. But here's the twist. The US government spends significantly more than it earns. Taxes alone can't cover the gap, and cutting spending isn't politically popular. So, paying it down? Easier said than done. But if paying it off isn't feasible, what's the alternative? Stick with me. The consequences. What happens when the debt remains? Point 3. The risk of inflation and rising prices. One common outcome of massive debt is inflation. As the government prints more money to handle interest payments, the value of each dollar declines. Remember that feeling when groceries seem to cost more every week? That's inflation at work. Your money buys less, and it hits hardest on people trying to save and build wealth. Ever feel like you're paying more for less? Well, welcome to the joys of inflation. Point 4. Who holds the US debt and why that matters? Here's an unsettling reality. Much of this debt is held by other countries like China and Japan. Why? It's a safe investment for now. But it also means the US is increasingly at the mercy of foreign lenders. If they lose confidence in the US economy, they could demand higher interest or stop buying debt altogether. So, if we're at the mercy of others, what happens if they want their money back? Let's find out. Point 5. The growing interest payments. Digging deeper into debt. Imagine trying to save, but every month, the interest on your credit card eats up all your extra cash. That's what's happening to the US. With interest payments ballooning, this debt snowball gets bigger, eating away at funds for schools, healthcare, and other critical programs. What happens next? Future scenarios. Point 6. Default on debt. What if the US can't pay? If things get worse, the US could default on its debt. And make no mistake, a default would be catastrophic. It would send shockwaves through global markets, eroding trust and making it harder to secure financing in the future. Think 2008, but on a national scale. Would the government really risk that? Let's talk about the nuclear options they might consider first. Point 7. Potential solutions. Navigating the debt storm. To avoid collapse, the US might look to creative, even extreme solutions. From renegotiating debt terms to printing more money, these aren't easy or risk-free options. The choices made in the next few years will determine whether we see inflation spiral or keep it under control. So, what does all this mean for you? And how can you make smart choices to protect yourself? Let's break it down. Point 8. What it means for you and building wealth. This debt story may feel overwhelming, but you have choices. From diversifying investments to understanding inflation risks, the key is knowledge. As citizens, staying informed and financially flexible can shield you from many of these uncertainties and position you to build wealth despite the looming debt issues. Ever feel like dodging debt is a superpower? You're not wrong. Now you know why the US may never truly pay off its debt and the potential consequences for all of us. But understanding this empowers you to make wise financial moves. Want to take the next step? Check out our video on how to build wealth for beginners in 2024 to discover actionable tips for your financial journey. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want more personal finance insights, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Wealth States.